let me start with the good parts.
Okay.
My name is Marilize Jacobs. I'm from South Africa.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a mother of twins. So I don't know if that's a good part of the story or not because they're teenagers.
No,
Um,
yeah.
I'm a type A multitasking creative, which is, I think, something quite unique. Um, I studied BCom Marketing and then worked in the marketing communications PR realm for quite a few blue chip companies.
Okay.
And then after I had my children, I wanted more flexibility. I studied interior decorating, and that's where my entrepreneurial journey really started because it was that whole story of let's go to school, let's do university, let's get married, let's have the kids. And suddenly there was this whole new world that was actually opening for me.
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.
Okay.
So currently I run two businesses. I'm still in PR and communications. My company's name is VocalCord, but I
Okay.
also do interior decorating, and that side of the business is called Pigs Can Fly Interiors. Now you're going to ask me why two vastly different businesses. Usually someone's answer would be, listen, I need an extra income stream or whatever that might be. For me, I'm a very curious person, and I think that's a very big trait of an entrepreneur is being curious.
Yeah.
Um, you must want to read. You must want to uh, have thought leaders you follow. You must admire certain people and follow them and want to be like them. So my thing was now I'm doing interiors. That's mainly left brain. Then
Okay.
there's strategic communications, reputation management, which is mainly left brain. So now suddenly I'm
Okay.
having a whole brain experience where I'm not just working, I'm also learning a lot about myself in the process through psychology. You know what I mean? So it's a whole
Yes.
brain process. As I said, I need to be busy, I'm curious, and suddenly by doing two things at one time, I almost felt like I felt more fulfilled, if that made sense. Because the amazing thing is, people always say to me, then they challenge me, and then they say, no, but you can't be directly in the middle of your brain. It doesn't work like that. You're left or right. The brain is a wonderful thing. You can train your brain. Autism can be cured. And I even bought something to show you. The
Okay.
brain that changes itself. This book is amazing. Our brain is like a piece of putty. So you can learn certain skills within the left and right brain. So
Okay.
for me, that is why I actually have two careers in one, and I need to explain where it all came together, if that makes sense.
What inspired the creation of your businesses and what problems were you aiming to solve in the market?
Right, suddenly I had kids. So everything in my life was suddenly finding solutions to make life easier. So might be changing a nappy or how to quickly warm a bottle because it's two of them, and the one that cries the hardest is the one that's getting attention. I started becoming very aware about gaps in the market for certain stuff. And I didn't want to get involved in baby stuff. I've got a great mentor also. His name is Mark Bowden. You can also follow him on LinkedIn. And he calls it you started to get conscious about gaps in the market, and then where, and now I'm going to throw a little bit of lingo, which is sometimes a bit unfair for entrepreneurs, but where is their value proposition? Where can I add value that's not yet in the market? Now, for instance, interior decorating, has been around forever. There's nothing new about it. But there are huge misconceptions about it. Everyone thinks it's just fluffing pillows and I'm going to be hugely expensive and all of those things. But for me, trying to cost effectively um, make your house a happy place is very
Okay.
important for me. And I saw a gap there um, where I could listen to people, hear what they're saying, not just force my style onto them. Um, there is actually something called the Happiness Institute. It's an international institute, and they've recently released research where it shows that 15% of your happiness comes from your home environment,
Wow.
what your house look, the counts to obviously to 100%. Now, to give you an idea of the spectrum, health counts for 14%. So it's even higher than health to make you happy. And that's what I want to
Wow.
do. I want to make people
Okay.
happy. And then the other problem I had was how I identified my value proposition. In obviously, I studied PR and marketing. Was hugely people think public relations is getting you into newspapers. Might be me having this interview with you. Um, it's media coverage. So that term, I wanted to show people what is reputation management. Reputation management is stakeholder management. It's it is your media relations. It's your awards programs. It's your speaking opportunities. It's your social media. Traditionally, in PR, social media was part of a graphic designer's job. You know what I mean? So why I started this was I wanted to find two niches within these two different markets that I knew. I wanted to address the happiness factor and the misconception about interior decorating being only for the rich and all that nonsense, and that there's meaning to the madness. It actually makes you happy when you're home. Happy, hello. We all
I,
and then also the misperception about PR, and it's all about bubbles and Friday afternoons that you have off to go and drink drinks, and it's not like that at all.
run two businesses, Pigs Can Fly and VocalCord. So how did you assemble and build your team?
There's actually three tiers I would like to address there. The first one is mentorship.
Okay.
Now, mentorship isn't necessarily a professor or someone. Mentorship is sometimes family, it's your
Okay.
community, it's your friends, it's people that say, "Hey, you can do this." They also
Yeah.
they're your cheerleaders, essentially. My second one is I'm very passionate about empowerment. Um,
Okay.
so to give you a practical example, my garden man uh, 20 years ago, he's actually a Zimbabwean guy. Yanzoni, this is your shout out. This is your moment of fame. And I saw this guy, he can do more than just cut grass. So we went through marketing school. I actually sent him to painting school. And I think at the moment, Yanzoni makes more money than me. I think he's got three trucks. He employs 15 people. He works for me, but he runs his own
Wow.
business called Fabulous Finishes. Um, so that was one part of the team.
Okay.
He works for me. And also, there's a loyalty between us, I think, that no one can replace, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And then my third building of a team tip is support local and support other entrepreneurs and freelancers because
Okay.
we need it. It's easy to go to the big guys.
When I read about you and about your business, Pigs Can Fly, and my my I was so curious. How did you come up with the name? Why the name Pigs Can Fly?
I'm a creative.
Okay.
So for me, like I said, my value proposition is anything is possible. Look, freaking, I'm not going to break down your house and rebuild it for you, but your vision, I can make it happen because I listen to you. Now, the saying pigs can fly is actually, it's compared to the day pigs can fly, it's going to happen. But I want to tell you, I'm going to make it happen. So
Okay.
I'm making a promise to you already that I'm going to deliver, if that makes sense. So it's preempting my value proposition by saying
Okay.
pigs can fly. Yeah, I'm going to make it happen.
Last year, I took time to research about funding in Africa, and I found out that it's a very big challenge. Very, very big challenge.
In South Africa, we typically don't refer to it as funding. We refer to it as almost sponsorship. So you'll
Okay.
typically have a big corporate that's got a sponsorship program for entrepreneurial hub or whatever the whole story is.
Okay.
I feel that Africa and South Africa still do not understand that concept. And I feel
Okay.
there is not enough support with regards to that. So, what I had to do, for instance, is change that whole concept for myself to not focus on the funding of the story, but actually looking at a human investment, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I had to look at mentorship, which is not a monetary thing. And it's actually
Okay.
sad. It's good in a way, but I do feel that there's a huge gap in the market with regards to that. I think, um, look, entrepreneurship is the future. That's it. You can say what you
Okay.
want to say. I mean, with the birth rates going up and all of that, and I mean, everything economically just makes sense. Um,
Okay.
I train my kids to be entrepreneurs, and they're 13 years old. So I'm going to agree with you there. There is a gap, and I wish the corporates will listen.
I believe that the government in all the countries in Africa have a role to play.
Look, I don't want to speak specifically for establishments that might be there, but I was having a conversation with a big voice in the entrepreneurial industry a while ago,
Okay.
and we both felt that no, um, there's not enough being done with regards to that,
Okay.
um, and especially with regards to females, money usually makes us feel a bit. We're very comfortable with money. We like it a lot, but we like to shop. But it makes us feel uncomfortable if we don't have the funding. And then you have a startup idea, which is great, but you'll never grow because there's no funding.
There are many people out there that have great ideas, but there's no fund. And for instance,
Correct.
here in my country, Nigeria, when you walk into a bank to request for fund, they'll ask you for collateral.
That's a
Rather
loan.
from
That's not. You almost, like I say, need to look at it as a sponsorship for me more than anything else. I don't like the term funding or a loan, or it sounds like something I need to give back at one stage. And that immediately creates uncertainty for me because now I'm already an entrepreneur. I'm putting myself out there. Is this going to work? Is it not going to work? Now someone is throwing another risk upon me. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
the term needs to be I'm sponsoring you. I don't want
okay,
anything back. It's like someone that's going to a rehab. I'm sponsoring you and I'm giving this back to you. So yes, there's a very big gap. There is a big gap.
okay. Let's talk about your customer base. What strategies are you employing to attract and retain your customers?
I'm going to give it one word: consistency.
Okay.
So, my message consistently is pigs can fly interiors. I'm going to make it happen for you.
Okay.
VocalCord, I'm your voice. Um, Word of mouth, huge,
Okay.
huge. Um, it takes time, and I think that's why entrepreneurs sometimes also get irritated or tired of the process, because it takes time. Because word of mouth is trust. That
Yeah.
means someone else trusted you enough to give you a number. Now, in any relationship, might be a marriage, friendship, trust is not built, hey, I met you for coffee and now we have trust. So that is the part where entrepreneurs also get a bit uh, demotivated. They don't want to go through those initial phases, because word of mouth is your biggest, most credible marketing tool. And the other one is you will always stay your brand. Now, it's very confusing at the moment. You've got TikTok, you've got this, Facebook, Instagram. What do I do? You might look, I understand a different challenge, but your business might not. I'm a huge LinkedIn fan. How did we meet?
On
You know
LinkedIn.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, profile yourself. You are your business and you are your brand. Even if
Okay.
you're a surgeon, a doctor, you are a brand. And the
Okay.
best place to do that, if you're very uncertain about the channels to work in, for me, I found with entrepreneurs, is LinkedIn.
That's true. That's true. I've met a lot of people on LinkedIn.
I
A lot.
know, it's insane. And it's not like an Instagram or a Facebook, or you meet funny people that wants to sell you
No,
forex,
Facebook is
make
not.
4 trillion million dollars per second type stuff. It's a bit, look, there is the dodgy stuff, but I mean, you can work through it. Look where you are now, and remember, you need to build. This is where it's starting. Like I said earlier, this is where a lot of entrepreneurs lose hope. Is this stage,
Okay.
where they feel like, okay, I had this great idea, and now it feels like everyone thinks it's the crappiest idea in the whole world. So now I'm just going to leave it. You know what I mean? And I'm going to
Yeah.
back to a place of safety. A place of safety is usually earning a fixed salary. You know what I mean? This
Yes.
is the hard part, and I'm going to address another question. I know that we had a conversation before. We're talking now, and that
Yeah.
is IQ, your resilience to
Yeah.
go through a hard time. IQ is your adversity quotient, so also referred to as your resilience
Okay.
quotient. Now, the definition of that is to come out of a hard time, and listen carefully, not just to survive and look okay. Come out of a hard situation and thrive. It's one of those situations where you see someone and you think, how did she do this? You know what I
Okay.
mean? She
Yes.
she didn't just survive. I think I want to learn something from her. You know what I mean?
Yes. I got to know you was your article on Inc. Africa, where you talked about adversity, quoted.
For me, where IQ intrigued me, look, if your personal life isn't great, not a lot of stuff is great. So
Okay.
I'm a single mother. I had to go through a divorce. I had to pick up the pieces. It wasn't the easiest time of my life. I can definitely tell you that. But I was very intrigued about what happens inside that sphere that made me pick up stuff and gave me the motivation to go on. And I think there's a lot of African women that's going through the same thing. Now, let me tell you why. IQ is actually directly linked to people that desert their family.
Okay.
And think about how many, and I don't really want to go into the socio-economic thing of this, but leaving a woman with a young baby, you know what I mean? That is
Yes.
bad IQ, if you know what I mean. So,
Yes.
um, and then suddenly the community has to jump in. I don't think there's enough support like that there used to be with regards to that. Um, and then it was important for me to know how can I uh, persevere with this, because otherwise I'm going to burn out. That's a big
Okay.
thing. Look, we all can do it for a year, and then we're going to be totally ridiculous. Now, for interview purposes, I think it was easy for me to put it into mind, body, and soul without going
Okay.
into I believe in the universe type of stuff. Now, everyone will say self-care. That's an easy one.
Okay.
It's not just bubble baths and candles and Julio Iglesias or whatever you guys listen in Nigeria. About listening, it's about actually releasing oxytocin, which is your love hormone. Now,
Okay.
your love hormone gets released when there's, um, let me give you an example. When your dog barks, this is research,
Okay.
and you look him in the eye and you acknowledge him, then he stops. That's exactly where puppy eye dogs come from. So you know that you've done something wrong, and then you go like this, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? That
Yes.
releases oxytocin. Human
Okay.
touch releases oxytocin. So no one must ever again tell me a massage is not good for you, because it's in human touch. So it doesn't have to be an excuse the word in a sensual or a sexual way. Um, Martial arts releases oxytocin. I mean, that is just really ridiculous. So that for
Okay.
me is the mind, bit of a body part of that. But the other thing that's very important is you can't think properly
Okay.
when you've got brain fog. Brain fog is a big
Okay.
problem for entrepreneurs. They come to a stage where it's like, it's too much. I'm too tired. It feels like there's cotton wool in my head. Now, the reason that happens is because, again, this is facts.
Okay.
Um, there's a direct link between your gut and your brain. And usually you'll see entrepreneurs that don't eat well, they don't look after themselves, they don't take their supplements anymore. Yes, we all know we have to exercise and all of that. Gut, brain health, very
Okay.
important. That's how they cure autism these days. I mean, so it's an amazing thing. Look after what you eat, what you feed
All
in your
right.
gut.
Okay.
Do your omegas. If I can give entrepreneurs one pointer, put turmeric in anything. It's the greatest anti-inflammatory at the best price. Cook your pap, cook your rice, cook your everything with turmeric.
Okay.
Suddenly, you fixing your gut, direct link to your brain, can think clearer, all of those things. Now, your soul also needs to be fed. But that's the things
Okay.
that you love. Um, and that's where I come in with the interiors. I say to people, listen, like I told you the stats. Your home needs to be your happy place.
Yeah.
I
Now,
work from
I was,
home. It's very weird that I'm saying this, but anyways.
let's talk about reputation management. Can you share a specific case where your reputation management strategies had positive impact on a client business?
I don't come from an entrepreneurial family. That's what I also want to tell everyone out there. You don't have to come from an entrepreneurial family. I actually come from a doctor's family. So
Okay.
I also wanted to become a doctor, but I think my bedside manners would have been very bad. But anyways, um, I used to consult on the PR side for a big pharmaceutical company. But my
Okay.
passion, just to go back to my first sentence, is children. I love kids. Um, Education. So what happened was, the movie, the American movie where the fat kid is running last and he's got asthma and everyone is teasing him and fitty, there you go, the whole story. So at that time, I'm not gonna name anyone at this stage. He was
Okay.
an Olympic athlete for South Africa, and he actually
Okay.
had asthma, and
Wow.
no one knew this. So we used them in a PR campaign where we told, especially children, listen, you're not a loser because you've got asthma. Look at this guy. He's got asthma. It's
Yeah.
treatable. So the results were not only just financially rewarding, to see the psychological effect it had was huge.
Okay.
Because I mean, in my years that I grew up, asthma was almost, I don't want to say frowned upon, but listen, you can't do anything. You can't be in the athletics teams, you can't be in the swimming team because you've got asthma. So there for me, because I've got such a huge passion for children, educating them with regards to your weakness, what you might see as a weakness that's actually not. That was a fabulous campaign to work on.
What approaches or techniques do you employ in managing and improving a brand's reputation?
So for me, in terms of, look, there's the big companies. Um, Data analytics is the latest thing, as you may know. Everyone wants measurement. They want to know where's my money going, where's my bang for my buck, that type of thing. So now the thing with that is, big companies, I prefer RepTrack, which is an international reputation management tracking system. Everyone is welcome
Okay.
to Google all this stuff or just DM me and ask me about it. But for
Okay.
entrepreneurs and even your medium-sized businesses, I almost want to say ChatGPT is not your friend. Google is still your friend. So work with Google. Do your
Okay.
Google Docs. Get to know your Google Sheets. Get how to analyze your analytics, and people are welcome to DM me for apps that you import directly where you can see measurement for your things, because at the end of the day, I think you want to see, it's like anything. Let's say a subject in school. You almost forget the first term how bad you did. And then you come to the third term and you think, I'm doing okay-ish, but you forgot how terrible it was in the beginning. Sometimes to just for a motivational overview, see what's going on. I want to focus on the positive because now I can tell you, whoa, you're looking at the sheets and it's like, whoa, it's a disaster. Oh, it's over. But focus on the positive stuff with regards to that. And like I
Okay.
say, Chat GPT is your friend, but it can also be your foe. But Google is always your friend.
Currently, Google is inculcating AI into their searches. So, what do you think about that?
We're not going to take that one away. I
Okay,
think you need to see it in a twofold, almost like a friend or foe scenario. I think there's a lot of positive things. I speak from my experience and my industry. Look, a lot of stuff that I do is visual. I think AI is amazing with that stuff. But then you need to be very careful, especially within reputation management or if you've got a small boutique PR agency, because it's easy to type in, do me a press release for a new energy drink or whatever you want to do. And AI is going to kick it out for you. But what is happening automatically within the publishing industry is they've got screens and their own AI that picks up um, if you've used AI to compile a press release, and then they automatically kick you out. For me, for instance, if I get an email and it goes like this, at least we haven't had that conversation. I hope this email finds you well. Then I automatically know this person used Chat GPT. So use it wisely.
talking about reputation management, something happened here in my country. A lady came online, okay, posted something on that should be on Facebook or Twitter. I have forgotten the platform. She bought a product. That should be tomato product from a company, and
Mm,
she gave a review. The company arrested the woman. They arrested her that she's trying to destroy their brand. So I was thinking that what they should have done, probably I'm wrong, was that to give a maybe a press release or invite the woman over to their
mm.
factory. Only that alone will make the woman
Exactly.
to come back
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
give another review. But instead, they got the woman arrested. And that happened
Love
last
that
week.
you're giving a real life example. Um, that's what we call crisis communication in PR. Now,
Okay,
to avoid crisis communication, there's usually two strategies we follow. We have a proactive communication strategy, and then we have a reactive communication strategy. Now, I think any business, any business should have this. Write everything down. And I'm going to
okay,
do a shout out for a company in South Africa now, and I hope she's going to send me a diary. Letish Swart's diary, where you do
okay,
your daily planning. Go and write down certain things that you can preempt that might happen in your business. Is someone
okay,
gonna accuse you of copywriting? Um, w- w- what support might I need at one stage? What misconceptions are there? Bigger companies, what are my shareholders' problems? Again, you don't do this alone. You bounce it off your mentor, your sponsor,
okay.
your friend, your community. Um, so now already you've got a proactive plan, but things happen.
Yes.
People are funny things. Yeah, they can pull something out of somewhere. So now suddenly you're dealing with a reactive, um, a PR action. And especially for entrepreneurs, because we're so passionate about our business and we're female, we knee jerk. So we want to put a bit of wooma in the whole story. Wrong strategy.
Okay.
Totally. Never ever not say anything. Like in the movies, they say no comment. Never say no comment.
Okay.
Say something as soon as you can. And there's
Okay.
nothing like an apology. Everyone likes an apology. You have to be hard. You have to be hard if someone says, listen, I screwed up. Sorry.
Okay.
Without an excuse.
Okay.
Anyway. But yeah, the movies are, it is actually like that. Don't say, no comment, no comment, no comment. Speak to me,
We
speak to my lawyer. You know, my child said that to me the other day. Don't speak to me, speak to my lawyer. I'm like,
How do you leverage data analytics to inform your reputation management strategies?
okay, look, bigger companies work on your rep track. You've got your Office 365, that type of thing. Like I said, Google. Google is your friend. Is Notion, especially for LinkedIn analytics, because I think there's a lot of misleading stuff happening on LinkedIn. You know, your engagement levels and things like that. Um, This is just an interesting fact. You know, all these things that I put out on LinkedIn, like, oh, you're a thought leader and you've been chosen. You're a chosen one to give input into customer service delivery. That is not what they're using your opinion for. They're actually using it to create AI,
Re-
ChatGPT.
Really?
Yes. Do
Put
you
that
think
before.
they get all their answers from? Think about it.
They have they have sent me that couple of times, but I will just ignore it due to I don't have the time to reply, or the truth that I don't even know what
I'm
to
not going
write
to give
down.
my knowledge away for free. Thank you very much, ChatGPT. But anyways, keep that. This is just like a fun fact type of thing. So, no, not a fun fact, a true fact. Then another one, which is a bit more technical, but I think entrepreneurs are very good with like figuring stuff out for themselves and learning themselves stuff. They don't really have to, you don't have to really go on a course to now figure this out. Is Zapier. I don't know why I
Okay.
said that in a French accent, but anyways, Zipier. Put a press release out there and don't wait. Don't wait. People, when you always have an idea, you always say, oh, I'm just going to sleep over it. And tomorrow I might know what I'm going to do. That's exactly how people think about a crisis as well. They sleep about it, and that next day, you either okay or you're crucified. So don't wait too long.
Are there any emerging technologies that you believe will impact the future of online management?
Online reputation management is an interesting one. And here again, you must be very careful about for AI and chat
Okay.
GPT. Keep it authentic, keep it within your brand strategy and your messaging, keep it consistent. Yes, a channel like Instagram is very visual. Use your
Okay.
visuals, use your AI there, but stay true to your brand, especially with regards to online brand management. I think that's very important. And again, talking to entrepreneurs, do not underestimate the power of LinkedIn. Look, we all know Twitter, X, whatever, went through this whole disastrous thing. There's a lot of interesting things happening on LinkedIn. I don't know why. I'm just a LinkedIn fan at the moment. I'm having a LinkedIn moment.
How do you combine being a single mom of twins, which is for me is a full-time job, with running
It
your
is
two
a full-time
businesses?
job.
Yes. So how do you combine your full-time job as a mom with running your two businesses?
My support system. My support system,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. Okay.
I wouldn't be able to do it without the people in my life. There's so many shout outs. It sounds like I'm winning an Oscar. Everyone always says, and for me, it's so sad sometimes that we don't do this for each other. That whole thing, it takes a village to raise a child and no man is an island. I've said it before, but we don't live it anymore. We've become so isolated and selfish with regards to certain things. But I am so blessed to be part of a very supportive support structure. And this is also a very personal thing for me, obviously. I'm religious, I'm a Christian, and I feel
Okay.
that keeps me very grounded. Yes.
Okay. What piece of advice can you give to Africans, especially women who are looking forward to
Yes,
study
I
a
love
business?
this. Okay, firstly, and I'm so excited to say this because you don't have to come from an entrepreneurial background to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Everyone thinks, oh, my father had a sewing shop somewhere, so now I need to be this XYZ. If you've got that brainchild happening in your mind, it's happening.
Okay.
Women, we are naturally more, because of our motherly instincts that we're born with. We're very risk adversive. So what stops us from being proper entrepreneurs sometimes, even if you've got a great idea, or you start with an idea, because I've mentioned before, startups, that's not the problem. It's growth and to make it into something bigger. Go and write it down. Good old school. This is
Okay.
A, this is B. What if I have this business? I want to do this new anti-coolie product or whatever. What's my risks? What's my benefits? Literally. So risk, manage your risk, because then your process will be less stressful. And also, I tend to see that female entrepreneurs are quite shy. They feel still, like, I'm at a networking event. Is there going to be a lot of men? Are they going to try and intimidate me? Who's going to ask me, where's your stats on your product, or whatever that is? Shift your mindset from being not being self-conscious, but other conscious. So focus on the other person and stop. You can train your brain to do this. And then networking will be easier for you. Because I do find a big problem with regards to that. I'm actually writing an article for Inc. Africa at the moment about female entrepreneurs and networking. And then another
Okay.
thing about Inc. Africa, then I saw yesterday they published an article about Tylenol, but actually neuroscience shows that it lowers your risk adversity. So drink Tylenol to feel stronger. But that's just a kind of fun fact. But really, go and Google Inc. Africa. You'll see the stats there. But
Okay.
yes, for me, that is really, really that. And if you're uncertain, hit me a line. That sounds terrible. Just send me a DM and say, I can't do this anymore.
What's the African country that you want to visit in 2024?
Definitely Kenya.
Why?
Look, I've been in Africa. I've been around. I'm a summer person and I like sand, beach, sun. I want to see the Kenyan beaches. I just need to check my pronunciation there. Beaches.
What's the most underrated South African food?
Everyone knows braaivleis,
Okay.
and we're making a braaitjie and all of that. It's actually not a South African dish, but a lot of people don't know it's not a South African dish, but it's baboti.
How do you look after yourself in your free time?
Okay, I'm going to say exercise because I think that's the right thing to say.
What are
But also, I get a lot of energy from people.
okay?
Yes. So, quality time with people, definitely.
All right. So, what has been the most humbling moment in your journey as an entrepreneur?
That's, do you know what's always going to happen in the journey? I don't want to say it's a humbling moment. It's almost like it's a mixed emotion between you're humbled, embarrassed, sad, and mad. It's when someone else doesn't believe in your idea and shoots you down, and it's someone that you actually know and trust. So
Okay.
then you do become humbled because you go back to the drawing board and you rethink um, what you are doing, but at the same time, there's a lot of other emotions there.
What's the one thing that you would love people to know about you?
I can make a mean fire.
Okay.
I can reverse very well for a woman,
Okay.
and I'm very good with keeping goldfish alive.
Thank you so much, and for creating our time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Today Africa Podcast is a podcast series where we interview African entrepreneurs and professionals and share the stories behind their businesses. In each interview, we ask how they got started, how they grew, and how they run their business today. The stories are inspiring and also provide specific advice and insight into starting a business. By sharing these stories, we want to help others get started.